We are live.
We're back. All right, so we want to, I just posted on my Facebook wall to let us know what's your biggest challenge and make sure you ask us a question. So you've got two experts right now live willing to help you. Think about it as free coaching advice, right? So ask away. And let me ask you, Jeremy, I know right now we were just talking about funnels, right? About some people have to shut their funnel down because they had so much business. In fact, you just did that. You had to shut your funnel down because now you've got so much business that you're getting to be selective on getting to choose who you want to work with. How important is it working with the people that bring you the most joy instead of just taking business out of desperation like so many people in the marketplace do?
You know, to maybe backtrack, everyone understands, most people understand the 80-20 rule, that 80% of our revenue, and even I've read through psychology reports, 80% of our happiness comes from 20% of our experiences. So it's really important, I believe, to make sure that you have a well thought out sales funnel, and then when you need to scale down, because the problem is when you create a monster, when you create an atrocity that's going to bring you leads, that's going to bring you prospects, that's going to keep your pipeline full, when you create that, sometimes it can turn on you. And if you don't have systems in place, and if you don't have a way to handle those leads, to handle your prospects, all the money you're spending could be going in the front door and right out the back. You know, anytime I talk about systems, I love Michael Gerber's book, E-Myth. He says, systems permit ordinary people to achieve extraordinary results predictably. And, you know, Manny and I are here right now talking about this incredible event we're doing right here in San Antonio on May the 7th. And we're going to talk to you a lot about systems, because I believe that when you create daily habits, and habits are one of the most important things that most people have learned that either dictate their success or dictate their failure. And here's where most people go wrong. And Manny, I don't mean to talk too much, but I think that people don't realize if you're only 2 millimeters off course, if you're ever so slightly off course, that's the difference between getting on an airplane and flying from New York to San Diego and New York to Vancouver. That's trajectory is so far off. So a lot of people are just so slightly off course. And the problem is they're not course correcting. And so when you come to this event on May 7th, we're going to give you an opportunity to change your trajectory. I think a lot of people are only a few small defining decisions away from living the life of their dreams. But they need people who have been there, who have done that, who will provide a formula for success. Because success is a science. The same people achieve, the same people win, the same people succeed who have this down to a science. Manny?
Yeah, so let me just, and it requires action on your part on a daily basis. So you're right. So if you're going from LA to New York and you're just off a little bit and you're not making course corrections, you'll just end up somewhere else. This is the value of mastermind groups. This is the value of seminaring events, is to help people get back on track. And in my life, I have something that we call bookends, right? So the way I start my day and end my day is exactly the same, because I'm going to just, let me just give you some excuses people tell me, right? Manny, you don't know my life, right? Like, I've heard that a million times. Manny, you don't know. I've got kids, or I've got a boss that's tough, or you don't understand my business model, or you don't understand what let me tell you, yes, I do. Right? I've coached over 1,000 people, and it's the same excuses every single time. It's always about, you don't know this or you don't know that. The fact is, I do know, and the great thing about having experts is we have a vantage point. I'm 30,000 square feet or 30,000 feet above your business, and I know the mistakes that you're going to make. I know the potholes you're going to fall in. So let me help you by making some course corrections. I assure you, if you want it, you can get it, but you've got to follow a system. Back to systems. You have to have systems in place for everything. And it's important that you do things on a daily basis. It's not about one day saying, hey, I want to be healthy, I got to lose weight, so I'm going to give up a meal today. You got to give up certain things every day. You've got to give up sodas and the junk food every day, not just once a week and think you're going to make a million miles of progress. You've got to give up those things on a daily basis. And same thing with success. You've got to do certain things on a daily basis, like setting your goals, beginning with the end in mind, working that formula backwards. What is it that I have to do today? What's the most important thing that I can do right now? You've got to do those little things that make the big difference. Would you agree?
You know, I love that they say successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. Successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. And what that means is successful people, they're lifelong learners. They're going to classes, they're going to seminars, they're going to events, they're reading books, they're watching YouTube videos, they're in automobile university, meaning they're on a podcast or they're on a CD that's going to give them value and it's going to help them learn. And so there's certain things that you just have to know. And that's where I think success comes from, where successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people won't. When it comes to being uncomfortable, when it comes to growing, when it comes to learning, you know, everyone has heard of growing pains. There's some pain when you're growing. There's some pain when you're making changes. But the problem is, you know, I love the saying that says, people will cling to people will cling to an unsatisfactory life rather than change in order to get something better for fear of getting something worse. And I always have to repeat that, but it says, people cling to unsatisfactory ways of life rather than change in order to get something better for fear of getting something worse. And so right now, if you're in an unsatisfactory way of life, if you're not happy with where you are right this current second, on May 7th, when Manny and I have this event, when we lay out the success strategy, the formula, you need to make absolutely certain that you're there, that you do whatever it takes to carve out that time. You can go to believesa.com right now and register for the event. Believesa.com, S like Sam, A like Apple. And, you know, there's a couple other events. On April the 6th, we're doing a fundraiser for my friend Damon. We're doing a Mastermind Mega Mixer. And you can find out more about that at mastermindmegamixer.com. But the point of our mastermind events was success through collaboration, but more importantly, it was getting around like-minded people. You know, something you'll rarely read in success books is if you desire to succeed, if you want to have success in life, it is a requirement that you are around like-minded, success-oriented people that are for you. People that aren't going to be naysayers, people that won't point out the reasons why your plans won't work. And that's what Manny and I, we come together in a sense of collaboration to bounce ideas off one another and to learn and grow.
Yeah, and let me also say something. The way you do anything is the way you do everything, right? So if you take a half-hearted effort towards wanting to grow your business or change your life, that's the results that you're going to do. You've got to be, everybody knows I love Texas Hold'em, right? And I love playing poker. And there's a term in poker, obviously, called all in. It's when I'm all in. All my chips are on the table. You have to be that way about life and in your business. You have to be all in. You can't just do things sometimes when you feel like it. And I'm going to be honest. I haven't felt good most of today, but I knew we were going to do this tonight. And so it wasn't about whether I needed to feel like doing it, should we cancel it, we should postpone it. No, it needs to get done. We needed to share some content today and let you know we've got something amazing coming. So don't worry about, take your feelings aside and just say, hey, listen, I'm going to be all in. I'm going to make a decision, not the great commitment, but make a decision to be there. Make a decision to change your life. Just like that, in a snap, you can make a decision to say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm tired of struggling. I'm tired of every Christmas I keep saying, next Christmas is going to be better. Next Christmas I'm going to plan. You know, Christmas is going to be here in 10 months, right? I mean, like, it just happened. Well, it's going to be here in 10 more months. And people are going to say the same thing they did this last year. They're like, oh my God, it's like so expensive. Where am I going to get the money? And they've already told themselves they're going to struggle the rest of the year before Christmas. So part of this also event is going to be talking about mental toughness, about having a positive mindset. This is why I love believesa.com, because you have to believe. You know, and many of you know I had my 50th surgery a couple of months ago, and I had a tumor removed from my head. And mental toughness was part of the strategy when I went in the hospital. I didn't just go in and let them operate, crack my head open, take a tumor out, and think everything was going to be okay. I had to mentally prepare for that operation. I had to tell myself things are going to be okay. Mental toughness is so important. It's the same thing about business. You have to have a mindset that says, I can and I will, and it's possible for me. And when you say that and you believe that with everything, every fiber of your being, and then you apply the strategies and systems that we will show you on May 7th, then you are really putting yourself in a position to do well and really never be the same. Really have the best year of your life. I mean, just imagine what that would look like. Just imagine right now if you drove the car you wanted, you lived where you wanted, if you bought the food you wanted, went to the restaurants you wanted, took the vacations you wanted. I mean, just let yourself dream for a second. What would that look like? Now imagine yourself preparing for that day to happen because you're equipping yourself with information right now. And it's not just information, it's powerful information that if you implement, because information is not power, information is power when you implement it and actually do the work. You could actually have the best year ever, the best year of your life. And even if you fall short, what would that look like? It would look better than what you have, which is what you don't want, right? You don't want more of the same. So, I just want to encourage everybody to be there with people who care about you and watching you grow your business.
I think that people can't necessarily change their destination overnight, but they absolutely can change their direction overnight. And once you get some success principles that have worked for other people, a formula that has worked for other people, and also a lot of things of what not to do. Because I've said it before, knowing what to do is important, but knowing what not to do is important too. And also knowing why. Why should I not do that? Because unless we provide the why behind some of the what not to do's, you might think, well, maybe it didn't work for them and it probably won't work for me. There is, again, a science to success. There's a science to succeeding. And when you find people who have discovered the formula, when you find people who have strategies and systems and processes that are working right now, you're not executing the way you should be, I'll say it politely, if you don't follow their systems and processes. Because none of us need to reinvent a new way of thinking. All we need to do is mimic what works. Because there's a lot of people out there, I said on our last feed, who have spent a boatload of money and time and heartache by figuring out what doesn't work. And so if you want to go mimic the strategies, if you want the success blueprint, if you want to know exactly what you need to do, what steps you need to take, then May 7th, you need to be at this event, BelieveSA.com. I don't know, what's the capacity, do you know?
I think the limit's 200.
Okay.
We may ask them to hold 250, but right now the limit's 200 people, and it's going to sell out before May. We keep saying the early bird special is right now, and it's going to be double at the door. We're never going to see double at the door because it'll be sold out before it gets to the door. Let me ask you, Jeremy, since I've got you. We're talking about growing your business, and what are some of the challenges that you've had, and what are some of the things you've done to overcome them? Whether it's mental toughness, whether it's implementing a new strategy, just, maybe share with us one of the bumps in your road and what it took to overcome that bump.
There's been one setback after another, it seems, in my life, in my career, in my endeavors. And when I look back at the setbacks, when I look back at the struggles, during the time I was wondering, how in the heck am I going to do this? But now I think to myself, they say, instead of saying why me, they say try me. The Eventbrite isn't working. I guess there's no destination. Hold on real quick, Amy. Let me check that, and then I want to answer this question.
So we're saying the link's not working?
Okay, if you'll go to Believe, BelieveSA.com, you should be able to get right to the Eventbrite page. Believe, BELIEVE. I'm going to type it in the comment section. www. Okay. That will get you there. But let me answer that question. So, during the struggles, one of the most important things I've ever done when I'm going through a difficult time, how to make a comeback, how to keep from staying down, is I think about my victories. And I don't just think about those victories, I write those victories down. I write down things that I've done that no matter what, nobody can take away from me. And this is really important when it comes to goal setting, because something I've learned is successful people don't spend a majority of their time thinking about what they need to go do, the goals they need to go achieve. They spend more of their time thinking about what they've already done. And that gives them the confidence to propel them forward to go after those goals. And so there's certain things in my life, and I'm sure there's certain things in everybody's life, that no one can take away from you. No one can take away the San Antonio Business Journal, named me one of the youngest 40 under 40 business owners years ago in San Antonio. No one can take away from me, I was one of the top 200 financial advisors by Reuters for year after year. No one can take away from me News 4 WAI naming the financial planning expert of San Antonio. There are certain things that you've done, that you've achieved in your life, whether it's a degree from a school, whether it's getting through a struggle or a setback, but there's things that you've done that nobody can take away from you. And if you'll write them down on a piece of paper where you can actually look at them and say, wow, I've really done all of that. Because the problem is, we want to discount our successes. You know, I think it was Les Brown said, we put our failures in our heart and our successes in our pocket. So if we would put more of our successes in our pocket, in our heart, if we would dwell more on the things that we've done right and not so much on the things that we've done wrong, I think that gives us the opportunity to go out and do extraordinary things with our life.
Yeah, and we never give ourselves enough credit. This is, and this happens a lot of times with business owners and goal-oriented people. It's like we have a goal, we hit it, and then we want a bigger goal, and it becomes so insurmountable. We forget, if we just look backwards, that what we've already overcome, what we've already been through, that this is also obtainable. But we never give ourselves enough credit. And one of the questions that Jeremy and I get a lot is, how do you build confidence? What is it the things that I need to do so I can feel more confident as an individual? And one of them is exactly what he just said, is write down a list of some of your accomplishments. I don't care if it's high school, or I just went to high school. Don't say I just went to high school. Some people have never graduated. And, oh, I just got a GED. Don't say I just got a GED. Some people have never gotten a GED. Quit discount. It's kind of like when you give a woman a compliment. I'm going to say this as a man's point of view. I'll say, wow, that dress is beautiful. And the woman will say, oh, this old thing I got at a garage sale, or I got it on sale. I didn't say that. I just said it looked really great. But we have such a hard time receiving compliments that we also have a hard time seeing our own accomplishments, let alone someone else commending us, or complimenting us rather, and saying something good. So look at some of your past accomplishments and give yourself some credit, and then get prepared mentally, like we're going to teach you May 7th, for the next level. Because you have to be growing. Just as Jeremy and I, we're wanting to grow our business, and we're always networking with people and talking to like-minded people and masterminding ourselves, because we want to go to the next level, because we know we don't want to be at the same place. Even if it's a great place, we don't want to be stuck. We want to grow. It's not natural to just stay. You'll wither, what's it called, wither away? And we don't want that to happen for you. We don't want that to happen for your business.
You know, when they say wither away, that goes back again, I mentioned on the last feed, called the law of use. And the law of use works like this. Whatever you don't use, you lose. You forfeit by default. If I were to take this arm right here, tie it to the side of my body, and not use it for 6 months, now don't get me wrong, it might not fall off and go away, but the strength is going to substantially diminish. So if you're not going to events like the one we're doing right here in San Antonio on May the 7th, if you're not exercising your mind, your brain, it's going to diminish. You know, people think that when they finish school, whatever level of education they receive, that, okay, they're done. But that's the worst thing you could ever think. You know, Jim Rome says, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. And you've got to be a constant learner. You have to be someone who approaches things at the vantage point of saying, I'm not an expert. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. Because the way things work is, everything is always changing. You know, whether it's technology or whether it's marketing. You know, years ago, I used to have to walk up and down streets and knock on doors and try to sell stuff. Now we have these extraordinary sales funnels that are available through pixeling on social media accounts. And so constantly evolve, constantly grow, and make sure that you're staying up on whatever the strategies are going to be to make certain that your business is growing to the potential that it has the opportunity to. I think most people, you know, their limitations are so large in their mind. Their limitations to what they deserve, to the friends that they deserve to associate with, all the way to the restaurants they feel comfortable in. They limit themselves. And when you take those limits off, because you believe in yourself, you believe in your skills, you believe in what you bring to the table, then that gives you the opportunity to earn, to grow to your full potential. But the only way really to do that, to have that confidence, is you've got to put the work in. You've got to go to the classes. You've got to watch the videos. You've got to read the books. I mean, the secret to success is written down in all the books, and people don't read them. It doesn't make a lot of sense. You know, I own the website, thesecretttosuccess.com, and I talk about one strategy after the next to achieve your goals, to have more confidence, to increase your willpower. I didn't come up with the majority of this. I went and read it in a book. And I taught it to other people. I mean, the answers are everywhere, but you have to make sure that your eyes, your mind is open enough to see these answers.
Yeah, but the challenge is most people are not willing to do the work. You know, so we'll love talking about it. We love thinking about it, but we're not willing to roll up our sleeves and do the work. And Jim Rohn, who I absolutely love, was one of my mentors. He said that, and he also said what you do 8 to 5 will make you live, and what you do after 5 makes you a fortune.
Sure.
So a lot of times, I mean, I'll give you an example. The Oscars, I think it was just Sunday, people can tell you who won the awards, what movie was out, but they can't tell you one strategy, how to grow a business. They don't spend time on what's really important. They'll remember who won the Super Bowl. They'll remember things that are just doesn't matter in their life, really make no difference in their life, but they can't quote anything out of a book they've read recently because they haven't. So it's very important that self-education is very important. Never stop learning. Never stop going to these events. Just like we're having an event, I assure you that I attend events every year. There was one point in my life I was spending almost $35,000 a year flying to seminars and events, just getting educated from the top speakers in the world and the top teachers in the world because I was thirsty for knowledge. And I didn't want to, I mean, it's kind of a compliment even though it seemed like a diss. I remember going to my high school reunion and someone saying, "Wow, man, you're really different." And they didn't say it in a nice way, but I took it in a nice way because I'm like, of course I'm different. I don't want to be the same person I was 10 years ago. I don't want my business to look like it did 10 years ago. Some people have 10 years experience. Some people have 1 year experience 10 times, right? Mm-hmm. You should always be evolving. In fact, I think I read this on your page. If you knew me yesterday, you don't know me today, right? Because I'm always evolving. I may change my mind. I may get new information and make a different decision. And that's the benefit of groups and gatherings and getting in. It's like, again, I'm going to use a poker analogy because I love poker. We have things called tells. Someone may, the way they talk, the way they hold their chips, the way they don't hold their chips or their cards, it always gives you information, right? And then I make decisions based on that information. By reading books and listening to cassettes and experts in the marketplace, I could make better decisions because I have more information. And I'm not just left on my own 2 feet to learn or grow or do something. There's people who have actually done this before me that I can model around, not copycat them. You want to be unique, but that you can learn from so you can save thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, on mistakes they've made. So,
you know, Amy, I love your question. Is there a system? Hold on, there's an error. Maybe I'm getting the wrong. Actually, Gabriel, you're the one who asked the question. I've learned such valuable lessons regarding associations. It's truly mind-blowing. Is there a recommended system for a comeback to use as a springboard or a catapult? And I'll jump into that question. I think Manny will too. A lot of people are saying there's an error coming up for the order page.
Yeah, so I'm getting, Amy just sent me a message. She's getting an error. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want to take away from our time. We've got just a few minutes. I want to make sure that I give you and Jeremy gives you the attention that we want. And then what I'll do is I'll go fix this error and we'll repost it. So just know it'll get resolved and fixed here in the next 30 minutes, especially when we're offline. I'm not a techie, but Eventbrite, and they know what they're doing. So it's probably an operator error. So I'll make sure I'll get that fixed and that we get that link up. And the early bird special is going to be good all night tonight. So don't worry about if you miss it by 30 minutes. It'll be good, and we'll make sure that you get registered for this event.
Gabriel, let me digress back to your question about, you know, making a comeback. I'm no stranger to using a setback as a setup for a major comeback. I have a new book coming out next month. It's called 7 Secrets Guaranteed to Skyrocket Your Success. And I close the book out with, the last chapter says, get up even when you can't.
Yes.
And it's about resilience. It's about making certain that you go through life, and when you have these setbacks, when you have these challenges, you make absolutely certain that you're using them for a comeback. I love the story, and we're running late on time, and I tell lots of stories, but let me tell you the story real quick about this mule who falls in a farmer's dry well. So the farmer hears that the mule fell in the dry well, and he doesn't think that the mule is worth saving. So he goes to his neighbors and he says, hey guys, you know, would you help me bury this mule in the dry well, because I'm not going to take the money and the time and effort. It's an old mule and there's no point of saving it. And so what the farmers do is they grab one shovel of dirt after another and they're going to bury this mule alive in the dry well. And so when the first few shovels of dirt come down and hit this mule square in the back, the very first thing the mule does is it dawns on him that they're not there to save him. They're there to end his life. And so he begins to kick in that dry well hysterically. He starts to pretty much lose his composure. But then he realizes that if he doesn't get it together, if he doesn't take something that psychologists call deliberate calm and figure out his way out of this, his life is over. Every one of us figuratively have dirt being thrown on our back. Every one of us struggle through problems. But here's my point. What that mule did is he decided to shake the dirt up that got thrown on his back. He shook it off every single time, and he stepped on top of it. And so eventually, that dirt that was meant to bury him was the exact same thing that saved his life. And the only reason why it saved his life, the only reason why he was able to make a comeback or get out of that adverse situation was because of the way he responded. Now, a lot of people have dirt being thrown at them. A lot of people have had setbacks. And they sit around and they say, poor little old me. How am I going to fix this? Or this must be my lot in life. You have to look at it from a vantage point of, this might be where I am, but this isn't who I am, and this is not where I'm going to stay. I'm going to rise up. I'm going to beat this. And I promise you, people will scratch their head and say, how in the heck did they do it? So you're going to get a lot of valuable insights. You'll get motivation and inspiration on May 7th when we get this event working on Eventbrite. But as I said earlier, you're not getting milk. You're getting meat. You're getting substance. You're getting processes. You're getting formulas that will help you grow your business, that will inspire you to take action. Manny?
I mean, I don't know how to follow that up, right? So, I mean, that was well said. There's nothing really more to add than that. But we have a little bit of time, so let me just say this then. Worse than being broke is being broken. Broken in spirit, broken emotionally, broken-hearted. And sometimes you just need to be around other people. If that's the only reason you come, is just to be around other people so we can encourage your heart and get you mentally tough so you can take the next level, then come for that one reason alone. But, you know, the great thing about this is, yes, you're going to be motivated and you're going to be inspired, but we're also going to teach you a system, a step-by-step system to empower you, to help you grow your business, to help you grow yourself personally. And I think that's what sets so many things apart. There's, you know, in the speaking world, we say, what happens when you motivate an idiot, right? You get a motivated idiot. And we don't want to just motivate people, and we know you're not idiots. Obviously, if you're on this right now, that it's because you want to be on this, you want to learn, you want to grow. So, but we don't want to just inspire you with no action plan. We want to inspire you. At the end of that event, you have an action plan that you can implement immediately and make a difference in your life. And I don't know what that level is. Some people want to make more money. Some people want to have more relationship. And people want to have more financial pressure taken away. People want to be healthier. There's all kinds of reasons people attend these events. But this event is really going to help you grow your business and grow your sales and really propel you to the next level. So if you're a business professional, if you're a business owner, if you're an executive, if you're the head of a sales team, you want to be in this place with equally yoked people who are thirsty and hungry for content that will make a difference in their life. And listen, there could be one line. I remember I paid $12,000 to go to Las Vegas to shake someone's hand. I went specifically because I knew someone was going to be there. Paid 12 grand to get in this event. And of the 3 days of this event, there was one line in there that changed my life. The 12,000, even if I didn't get to meet the person, and I got to meet the person, one line changed my business and my life. And you just never know what's going to be said. You never know what you're going to learn. And it may even not come from us. It may not even come from us. It could come from the person next to you. You never know who's going to be in that room and how they can bless your life.
I just put a link in the comment section, mastermindmegamixer.com. It's a mega mixer we're going to do that will sell out. It does every single time that we do this. It's on April the 6th. We'll be raising funds for my friend Damon Ross, but it's going to be at Buns and Buckles. I never can say that fast. It's where Recciano's used to be, where Drew's used to be. April the 6th. If you would, secure your spot there as soon as possible because we're going to limit that to 200 people. our event that Manny and I are going to be speaking at that are going to give you opportunities to dissect the formula for your businesses. You know, Manny, would you say this is for business-oriented type people? This is people who want to take inspired action to achieve their goals, because I believe every single person, you know, has a dream in their heart. They have something that they want to achieve. They have some uniqueness that they were put on this planet to be able to do. And all you may need is a boost in the right direction. So thank you guys for watching. We hope to see you on May the 7th.
Thank you.
I didn't realize that we were almost out of time.
Wow, that goes fast, man. That goes fast.